Once again, I welcome you to my channel. I'm your Santosh Kumar Chaudhary. Since now, we have discussed a series of topics regarding class 12 physics, and the interest shown by you and the topics which you have discussed with me gave me a lot of importance to give you more and more information or more and more topics to you. And till today, we have covered a series of topics. Today, we'll deal with a most important topic, which is which plays a pivotal role in the electrostatics. And today we'll discuss about a main concept, that is Gauss law. Before going to the Gauss law, I just want to remind you from my last video or from your last topic which has covered, that is the plane angle, solid angle. In addition to this, flux, how this electric flux is important in the Gauss law, and why is the Gauss law is important. Whenever the Coulomb's law is there, why it is necessary of the Gauss law, everything we will discuss now. First of all, I just want to remind you what is the angle. Angle is which is bending, or the whenever we can say it is a line and it is another line, this bending is known as the angle. In the same way, whenever if I take a surface and I will take a point near to the surface, if I join the surface to the points, if I join all the points to the surface, there will be, it is the 3D diagram. Just I am drawing in a 2D surface. That's why you have to imagine. Okay, there will be an opening will be created. This opening is nothing but an angle, and this angle we can say this is the solid angle. And now we'll discuss for this solid angle is leads to there is another concept, is the electric flux. In the electric flux, we discussed with the flow of the fluid, how this flow of the fluid is deals to the drawing out the electric flux. And now we'll discuss the use of the electric flux or the flux. Now, what is Gauss law? Why it is the necessary of the Gauss law? Actually, the Coulomb's law is much before the Gauss law, or the Coulomb's law, Coulomb given the Coulomb's law much before the Gauss law. The Coulomb's law is only deals for the 2 point charges or more than 2 point charges. But whenever we'll take a surface or the complex of charges, that creates a problem about the electric field. Then when the situation will be created, now we'll deal with for that situation there is a necessity of Gauss law. Now we should see about the Gauss law or the Gauss theorem. I already told you, whenever if a sheet will take or the flat sheet will take, there is a lot of charges present above the surface of the sheet. If you will be calculate the electric field or the charges or the net electric field within that one, there will be a question will arise. We cannot, whether we will apply the Coulomb's law or not. The true fact is that Coulomb's law is only valid for 2 or more than 2 charges. But whenever we will take the sheet of charge, it will be a complex of charges are there, and due to which we cannot apply the Coulomb's law, and we have to go to the Gauss law. And what is a Gauss law? It states that for any distribution of charge, if we say for any distribution of charge, flux of the net electric field through a closed surface equals to the net electric charge enclosed by the surface divided by epsilon naught. Means if we take a closed surface, if it is a closed surface, within the closed surface the net electric field, means if I take E vector dot ds vector equal to net electric charge enclosed by the surface divided by epsilon naught. Means let's take in the entire surface the total charge enclosed is the q in, means within the surface or inside the surface, by epsilon naught. Here see the two parts we are seeing, the left hand side part and right hand side part. It gives the, first of all it will give the for the closed surface, not an open surface. And another thing, this will give the net electric field in the entire surface. And first of all, this electric field is the space around the surface, by the net electric charge, and this Q indicates the total charge inside the surface. Again I am saying, here the two parts we are seeing. In the left hand side, the net electric field around a surface by the around the surface of the space around the surface by the charges, by the net charges. But the right hand side indicates the total charge inside the surface. And remember, this Gauss law is the natural law. Why? Because it was proved by experimentally. And hence, using this Gauss law, we will find whether, as this is, we know the Coulomb's law was found, or the Coulomb's law was given much before the Gauss law. We can prove the Gauss law using the Coulomb's law. Now I am going to prove the Gauss law using the Coulomb's law. See, if I take a surface S, inside a surface S, I will take a point O where I place a charge Q. I want to find the electric field at point P. Let's take this is a point P, which is at a distance of R. Now I will find the electric field at point P. For this, I will take a small surface ds. Around this small surface, first of all I will find the flux, and then I will integrate throughout the for that value. Then I can find the entire surface, and just I will equate with the using the Gauss law, or I will find the Gauss law from that. For which, see, I am taking the point O, which is in a closed surface. Okay, and at point P I am finding the electric field. Let's take this is the direction of electric field, and this is the n cap, which is the normal at the for the small field ds. Means it is the outward normal drawn on the surface of ds, which gives the direction of the surface and the angle between these two surfaces. Let's take this is the theta. Now at point P, using the Coulomb's law, I can find the electric field intensity E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R square. As we know, Coulomb's law, electric field intensity E equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R square. Now using as we will find the flux of at the point ds, flux d phi, I will find the d phi equal to E dot ds as the angle between the E vector and ds vector is the theta. That's why I will write this one as the E ds cos theta, and this will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square ds cos theta. I will rearrange this in such a way: q by 4 pi epsilon naught ds cos theta by r square. Just remind, in the topic of solid angle, I told you this ds cos theta by r square is the angle subtended by this surface at the center. This will be, I may call this one as the q by 4 pi epsilon naught d omega. Just remind the topic. Then this d phi is the electric flux or the flux at point P by the surface ts. Now I will find the electric flux at the entire surface, for which I will integrate in the both side. Then what will happen? This ds, integration ds is equal to integration q by 4 pi epsilon naught d ohm. Then this will be s equal to q by 4 pi epsilon naught integration d omega. Okay, I'm just integrating the entire surface ds, sorry d phi, and this will be phi q by 4 pi epsilon naught d omega. Integration is the, you may know, in the same topic I told you, the if will be integrate the whole angle or the for the entire sphere, this will be 4 pi radian. This will be q by 4 pi epsilon naught into 4 pi. This 4 pi and 4 pi, this cancel out. This will be q by epsilon naught. And then I can write this as the phi equal to q by epsilon naught. As we know, this d phi, we are taking the E dot ds. Then we can say this as the integration E dot ds equal to q by epsilon naught. This is the what the Gauss law told. The electric flux or the flux or the flux of the net electric field through a closed surface, flux of the net electric field through a closed surface equal to the net electric charge enclosed by the surface, by that surface, divided by epsilon naught, which is the Gauss law. Understand? Now we'll enter as the point, when the point will be inside the surface, we'll find the when the point O is outside the surface. Then what will be the electric flux, or the we'll find the electric flux and whether we can find the Gauss law or not. See, just I'm erasing. See, if I'll find the at the outside the point, then the d phi will be q by 4 pi epsilon naught ds cos theta by r square. As we know, this ds cos theta by r square, q by 4 pi epsilon naught to d omega. And for entire surface, I can integrate d phi equal to q by 4 pi epsilon naught integration d ohm. As we know, for the outside the point, if will be integrated, there will be no angle, or there will be no measured value for the integration d omega. That's why this will be 0. Hence, this phi will be 0. And from this one we can conclude that for the outside the surface, there will be no electric flux. Hence, what the Gauss law said, for the inside a closed surface, the electric field is the inside a closed surface, the electric field only gives the inside a closed surface, the electric field only gives the electric charge divided by epsilon naught. Now we'll discuss for the application of the Gauss law. See, now see, we'll start from the application of Gauss law. What are the application of Gauss law? In your syllabus, there are only 3 applications, but we'll discuss little bit more, and we'll discuss one by one. Now, first I will discuss for the a basic thing is the for the charged conductor. First is the charged conductor. First of all, I will take the electric conductor, then I will go to the charged conductor. What I will do, let's take first of all we'll discuss about the electric conductor. What is an electric conductor? Electric conductor is a conductor where there is a lot of free charges are available, the free electrons are available. These free electrons are the main responsible for the flow of current. But whenever we'll keep this electric conductor inside an electric field, the free electrons will redistribute in such a way that to make the field zero, or to make the surface of the field zero. And for which I will consider an electric conductor, and I will keep within the electric field. See, what I am doing, this is an electric field, this is a volume, where the uniform electric field is available. Just let us consider I am taking a conductor here. As I am keeping the conductor, let's think all the free electrons are redistributed themselves. Then what will happen if they will be redistributed themselves, and we'll draw a surface inside the points, or inside the joining the points inside the volume. Then what will happen, we can understand easily that the surface contains the no electric field. That means as they redistribute themselves to make the surface zero field, if we'll be thinking in such a way that then integration E dot ds becomes zero. If you use this in the Gauss law, then as we know Gauss law is equal to Q by epsilon naught for a closed surface. As it is a closed surface, then there will be no net charge. It implies this: if we'll take a electric conductor, then the volume enclosed in the electric conductor, there will be no net charge within the surface or within the volume. That means what? It becomes the charge free, and hence we can say that the inside it is completely electrically neutral. Let us think we are injecting some charges inside the surface, then what will happen? The charges should be overcome the surface to make the surface inside the surface become charge free. Let us think what I am doing. I am doing it separately. I am taking the surface S here. If we will be inject any charges here, there will be the charges will come over the surface. But if there will be cavity inside the surface, if we will place the plus charge or plus Q here, then surely the negative charges, there is no zero charge inside the surface. That means what? If there will be positive charge we are taking, then sure there will be the negative charge will be placed the surface of the conductor. If I take a Gaussian surface around this surface, as it is electrically symmetrical or radially symmetrical, at every point of the Gaussian surface, the electric field is zero, and then we can say E dot ds become zero. If the positive charge we are taking inside the cavity, then to overcome this charge, as they are the negative charges are near the surface, and the positive charge will overcome the surface of the charges. Again I am saying, when I am taking a conductor, if I will take them any positive charge inside the conductor, then there will be the negative charge will, or the sorry, when I am taking the conductor, if I inject any charges inside to the conductor, then there will be charges will overcome the surface of the charge to make the charge, to make the surface charge free, or inside the surface charge free. Whenever we are taking a cavity, and if you are putting a positive charge, or we are putting a positive charge here, then the negative charges will appear on the near to the surface of the charge. And if we will take a Gaussian surface, if there will be at every point of the surface, as it is radially symmetrical, at every point of the surface is zero electric field. Why? Because there is no field in the outside of the surface, as there is no charges due to the conductor, hence there will be zero electric field, hence integration E dot ds is the zero, or simply we can say the flux is zero. But whenever the positive charge inside the surface, the negative charges are near the surface, then to overcome the surface, the positive charges will appear on the surface of the charge, and then the electric field will be generated. To simplify mathematically, to understand this mathematically, we will take some spherical bodies and or the uniformly charged spherical bodies, and we will discuss for the two positions outside the spherical body and inside the spherical body, and we'll find the electric field intensity, and we'll know the how this Gauss law will be used there. And now we shall discuss the second application of the Gauss law, that the electric field due to uniformly charged sphere. First of all, I will take a sphere where a charge plus q is uniformly distributed along the surface of the sphere. Let us take, this is a uniformly charged sphere where plus q is distributed. The radius of the sphere is the capital R. I want to find the electric field intensity at point P, which is at a distance of R. Here R is greater than, small r is greater than capital R, or the length of the small r is greater than the capital R. See, this is the electric field E vector, directed outward the normal. Okay, as see, this sphere is considered as the Gaussian sphere, as it is radially symmetrical, and we can say at every point the electric field intensity is equal. As it is uniformly distributed, the electric field intensity at every point is equal, and this electric field intensity is normal to the area or the surface drawn at this point. As it is a Gaussian surface, and if you take a minor surface here, and this surface, the outer normal drawn at this point is coincides with the direction of the electric field. Now what we will do, at this point at this point P, I will find the electric field, and then I will equate with using the Gauss law. Now see, as this E vector dot ds vector gives the E ds cos theta, as both are the equal, or both are the coincident, hence there the angle is a 0, thus we can say this is the cos 0 is the 1. Then if we will find d phi is the E dot ds, this will be E ds. Then if we integrate the d phi, then what we will get, integration E ds, then this will be E integration ds. This will be E. The integration ds means the entire surface, as it is a Gaussian sphere. Hence, the entire volume of the sphere is the 4 pi r square. This phi equal to 4 pi r square. But when we will compare this with the Gauss law, or this phi equal to q by epsilon naught, then we can simply write E into 4 pi r square equal to q by epsilon naught. Then this will be E equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. If I will be rearrange this electric field intensity E equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. Just remember the Coulomb's law. There what we will get, E equal 1 by 4 pi epsilon q by r square. Means we can say clearly the electric field intensity at a point outside the surface is equal to the electric field intensity at the point O. Means both have the equal magnitude or the equal strength of electric field intensity. Now we will find the electric field intensity inside the surface, for which I will draw a diagram. See, let's see, this is a sphere where it is simply we can say it is a uniformly charged sphere of Q. Means Q charges uniformly distributed along this sphere, and the radius of this sphere, let's take this radius of this sphere is capital R, and if I'll take a point inside the sphere, then this is the small r and this is the E. This is the direction of E vector, and this is also radially symmetrical. Hence, the electric field intensity is at every point are equal. Hence, we can say E dot ds or the d phi equal to E dot ds, and this will be E ds, and it will be integrate d phi equal to E ds. This will be E integration ds equal to E into 4 pi r square. But one thing we have to understand, this is the total surface. In the entire surface, Q charge is distributed, and this Q charge is distributed for the 4 by 3 pi r cube volume. Again I am saying, this is the volume of the 4 by 3 pi r cube in which Q charge is distributed. For unit volume, we can say if we will divide into the this much of a volume, for each unit will get this much of charge. Now, what is the charge inside this surface? We can equate this, the charge, if will be, first we will equate this with the Coulomb's law, or sorry, Gauss law. E into 4 pi r square is equal to q by epsilon naught. This would be E equal to q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. But one thing, see, this is the charge enclosed in the within this uniformly, as this is the charge uniformly distributed within the volume. Hence, for each volume, this much amount of charge is there. To find in this much of volume, what is the charge, we can multiply this volume or this charge with this volume. Again I am repeating. See, now we know that Q charge is uniformly distributed within this volume. Means if this is the 100 cubic unit, in each cubic unit what amount of charge is present, that we are finding here. And if let's think this is the 80 cubic unit, in this 80 cubic unit how much of charge is present? Means for 1 cubic unit the charge into 80. In such way, this is the charge present in each cubic unit, and this is the charge present only through the Gaussian surface. Means if we will cancel the 4 by 3 and pi, this will be QR cube by capital R cube. This will equal with this one. Why? Because the electric field intensity E 4 pi R square equal to the QR cube by capital R cube. Then we can say this as the E equal to by epsilon naught. Then we can say E equal to QR cube by 4 pi epsilon naught R square into R cube. Then this will be cancelled out. This R square and R cube, this will be QR by 4 pi epsilon naught R cube. That means what? Here what we are doing, simply again I am repeating, this is a charged sphere where Q charge is uniformly distributed. Now we are finding the electric field intensity. This is at point P, which is at a distance of small r from the center of the sphere. Now this radius is the capital R. Now what we are doing, for finding the electric field intensity at point P, we are finding it for a small area d phi E dot ds vector, as E vector and the normal vector to the area both are the coincident with each other, hence this will be E ds. But one thing, we are finding only for a small area. To find the electric field, so the flux for the entire area, just I am integrating, I am getting the E 4 pi R square. But what we know, this Q charge is uniformly distributed throughout the surface. But in each cubic area, what amount of charge is present, that we will find by dividing the entire charge with the volume of the uniformly charged sphere. That is the Q by 4 by 3 pi R cube. But as we know, this is a Gaussian surface. Within this Gaussian surface, what amount of charge is present? To know that, we are multiplying this with this volume. Means Q by 4 by 3 pi R cube into 4 by 3 pi R cube, small r cube. Then if it will cancel out, this will be Q small r cube by capital R cube. And then what will happen? This will be E by 4. This amount of charge is present within this one. Now using the Gauss law, E 4 pi R square, means this is the electric flux, is equal to the total charge present or the net charge present inside the volume by epsilon naught, or divided by the epsilon naught. If we take the 4 pi R square this in this side, then this R square and R cube is cancelled out, and this will be smaller, and this will be 4 pi epsilon naught R cube. Whenever this R is very less, means R is 0, means when the charge is present in this position, then what will happen? Smaller will be 0, the entire charge will be 0. Means at the center, the electric field of intensity is 0. When smaller is equal to capital R, means when the point is situated on this surface, then it will be equal to the electric field what we will get on the outside, on the surface, and for the outside and for the surface are both are equal. Only for the inside the point, the value is this much. Okay student, just I am requesting you again, just watch this video, and if there any doubt, you can contact me or just drop me the doubts in the comment section. Thank you all.